Alright, we are doing a quick run around here of the Maine Central Lower Road. This is East Augusta. This is where the trains come out of Waterville staging and they start entering East Augusta. This will be the Statler Tissue Paper Mill. Over here we have a junkyard scrap dealer and a newspaper or newsprint company and a distributor of spirits. Yet to be named industry is over here. There was two sidings here. I've only got one, but I'll have to figure out what that industry is going to be. This will be Water Street Industrial, so there'll be a full scene on the front here in front of the tracks of a downtown area with lots of stores and stuff. This is the Augusta Yard area. You'll have the Maine Central Freight House right here with 2 tracks served. You'll have a small yard here where they can sort cars between the trains out of Rigby and the trains out of Waterville, and also the through trains can pick up blocks for Rigby here. Come around, and then Augusta is actually 2 tracks all the way through. This is still Augusta, moving around. And this is the other end of Augusta where we have another small yard and several industries down here at the end of the yard to get serviced. This is the upper level, by the way. And you come out of Augusta and you go around this bend, and as you come out of this bend, you're going to be in Hallowell. In Hallowell, there was several industry. There was a fuel dealer. There was a meat processing plant, or they received meat basically, and then there was the armory where they received shipments. And from here, there's also a Blue Seal feeds dealer. Wasn't actually active in the 70s, but I'm going to model it just because I like to have that type of an industry in here. Come down here, a small stream crossing. I have to cut out the out there. Little terrain features getting set in here so they can dry up. Come down around this loop. We're getting ready to come up on the Caboose-Conti branch switch, which is right here. The Caboose-Conti branch was only 1.5 miles long, but it had 6 industries on it, and the grade leading up to the first industry was 4%. And this is actually a little less than 4%, but you can see it's quite a dramatic grade. There'll be a steel dealer right here, T.W. Dick Steel. It'll take and unload cars right on the street, which I haven't got in there yet. And then you'll have another beverage distributor here. Be another small York paper craft type paper mill, and then over here will be another distributor of hardware. The track, meanwhile, on the main line has gone around and will actually go underneath the Gardner area. This will all be covered up eventually with fascia. Then we have a drop leaf here. On the entrance in the room, you can actually duck under this, and this is Gardner. Gardner's got several sidings on it, serviced by the SR2, RS2 trains. It also has a fuel dealer. It also has a small yard to store cars, usually what was going to be moved or worked on the Caboose-Conti branch. Come across here, and we got another drop leaf so you can gain access to this hallway, not in between operating sessions. And coming out of here, we're heading to Richmond, Maine. Another stream crossing here, which I need to fill in still. And then we enter Richmond. Richmond had a freight house track, and it also had a coal dealer. They were still delivering coal in the 70s, not a lot, but they're still delivering it. And then there's another feed dealer on this siding over here. And the team track or house track also, they would load pulpwood on cars. Same thing over here at Gardner. They would load pulpwood on cars in some of these sidings. And then you come out, and Richmond's got the longest siding on the upper level, so this will be a meet between the long Bangor to Rigby trains and any local freights that are up here. And from this point on, you go into the helix. So there's the helix. I started putting the outer covering around it so you won't actually see it. I will have a camera set up, and I will actually have a video monitor up here that's going to have 8 cameras. 2 of them will show the helix, the other 6 will be the staging that's underneath the layout. This is a 7.5 turn helix. So the train will come down from Richmond, and it'll come out of this track right here. The outer track is between the upper level and lower level, between Richmond and the switch from to Rockland, which is right here. And this track right here goes underneath into Rockland Station. If I had more room, I would have done that branch, but not quite enough. And if you look down in here, you can see part of my DC system and the circuit breakers set up. Right across the aisle is the other booster and its circuit breakers. So we come around here, this switch either sends a train to Gardner or sends a train to Rockland. And we're coming into Brunswick now. So Brunswick had a Y. Here's the Y. This Y also was the entrance to the Lewiston Lower branch. And then the east yard of Brunswick had a freight house and several tracks for doing bulk or freight unloading. And nice little Spring Street scene that's going to happen here, where the Spring Street went across the throat of this yard. And then the track went over to the west yard. There's a drop leaf here and a drop leaf underneath. That drop leaf underneath is for the staging, which you can see there's 3 tracks on each side of the room. There's 3 tracks here. These are the longest staging tracks for the Bangor Rigby freights, and on the other side of the room is the shorter tracks for the locals. My intent is to run 30-car trains for the Bangor Rigby freights, and then the locals will be maxed out at 20. So this is Brunswick Yard. I've got the Canadian National GT Power over here because I'm doing construction over there where they normally would sit on the Yarmouth Junction, which we're going to next. So this is a major yard here. We would have the local freights, Lewiston Lower, the local freight from Rockland would come in here and exchange cars, and then RS2, SR2, which is the local that comes out of Rigby and goes all the way up to Augusta, would also work this yard. It would be a busy yard during the operating sessions. We come out of here and we got a grade starting up to Hillside. With a deep cut right here is the top of the grade. There'll be some certain times I will make it that somebody stalls their train out there and have to double the hill, which was done sometimes on the Maine Central. Here is Hillside siding. This is the longest siding on the lower level. This is the siding where the Bangor to Rigby freights would stop and cut off their Canadian National interchange cars. You see we're still at the siding here. And they would leave their freight here and they would travel down half a mile or so to Yarmouth Junction. So this is the tracks leading into Yarmouth Junction. And the Yarmouth Junction is right here. This is an interchange with a Grand Trunk. It was a major interchange, 6,000 to 8,000 cars a year through this interchange. So an interchange track going each way, the Diamond Crossing. That'll go down, there'll be a mare in the back, so it looks like that track goes on. The Maine Central goes across the crossing here and goes down into staging from here. It goes around underneath, and I put a little opera window here so you can see it going down into staging. And then if you go around here, you see the opera windows for the staging that is Rigby staging. And you can see I got some cars and trains in there. And that goes around to the Waterville station on the other side of the room.